Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, bringing you game number 3 of the semi-final match between iloveoov and Oops Reach. SK Telecom OOV versus Oops Reach, you can see right there on your screen. And we're in game number 3 here. This is on Bifrost. Bifrost 3. The third version of that Bifrost, I guess. Appropriate enough for game number 3. This is the semifinals of the 2004 ever OSL, and things are getting crazy here up in the StarCraft. And what actually is going on right now, this is a very early probe. Are we going to see some in-base proxy action by Reach right now, running around the secret side of the map? He's gonna, oh my god, he's gonna build, and not even on the high ground. What is going on? Is he even, oh, he's even checking. Is he checking, or is it, oh, he's gonna build a depot up at the top left. So I think he's gonna build his first depot over here, so it blocks this back area. And so this spot where Reach has a probe hidden, he actually, is he gonna still sneak it in? Where is he gonna put stuff? What is going on? I'm so confused. Maybe this isn't even, maybe this isn't a proxy. He would have had to build a pylon by now. There's the pylon. Okay. Is this gonna get spotted though? When this SCV returns, he needs to hide that probe. Hide that probe behind there. He needs to hide that probe. Oh, and the SCV pops out on the other side of the depot. Oh no. Oh no, OOV is not going to see this coming at all. He had a chance to see that. He probably would have seen that pylon running back down the ramp. What? We could see a semi-final game decided based on the RNG of which side of the depot that popped out. But no, he sees it now. He sees it now and immediately cancels his refinery and says, I need to worry about this 2-gate right now. He's going to build another barracks instead. He's actually pulling SCVs. He needs that money for Marines and SCVs right now rather than a refinery. He's pulling SCVs to try and kill off this gateway. There's a second wave gateway behind there, though, which is going to warp in first. The probe is running around trying to save itself, distracting another SCV, actually. So we're going to see this 2-gate in-base proxy. If it hadn't been spotted, OOV would have lost the game, but he has a chance here now to try and fight it off. He's attacking that. It looks like he is going to kill that gateway. In fact, it may have been canceled. But this other gateway is in a spot where only 2 SCVs could actually attack it. So he is going to get a Zealot out. Now, where's the Zealot going to spawn, actually? What if the Zealot spawns in a little pocket on the right side so he can't actually attack the SCVs because the SCVs are occupying the location? Okay, it did. The Zealot did spawn up the top right, but it can get around the pylon. It's now attacking the SCVs. He's killed 3 SCVs. With this single one, he's going back in for a 4th one. The SCVs are, oh, and he actually glitches out there, maybe attacking the Marine, I think. And the SCVs were in the way of the Marines. So now there's 2 Marines, though, going after that pylon. He actually steals the gas as well with that probe, just to make sure that the tech is slowed down. And he's going to get his own tech in the meantime. So it looks like things are going to stabilize here. Another Zealot has popped out. He's going to get 1 more SCV kill. Is he going to get a Marine kill? Probably not. That Zealot does go down. And so 2 Zealots killed, 2 gateways killed. Actually, the gateway can just leave there. It doesn't really matter if it's there. Although maybe he would have wanted to kill it to, I mean, there's an argument for wanting to kill it for just to make sure it's not there for vision. And, you know, I mean, he's probably already got another gateway up, so you're not going to stop him from building a core. But main thing is you want to kill off that refinery, the assimilator as quickly as possible. So that he can get a refinery down and get his own tech going, because he is going to need to get that factory tech going pretty quickly here. He is a little bit behind on tech as a result of it. So some damage has been done. Even though he didn't get a ton of kills, he didn't end the game with that rush, some damage has been done. There was 5 SCVs that weren't mining for a while, and look at this. OOV is actually paying him back a little bit here by putting down an engineering bay in the choke point right outside of his base, distracting some probes from mining, but also blocking so that no other attacks can happen. That's going to give OOV more time to try to get his own tech going. And now that the assimilator is done, he is going to go ahead and kill off that gateway just to make sure it's not there to get vision. He now excuse me, now Reach won't know if an expansion goes up or something on those lines. Reach just kind of slowing down the whole game, but it looks like we're going to transition into a normalish game at this point. So now you can see those Dragoon. The Dragoon has to sit there and attack the engineering bay instead of running across the map. It could theoretically run across the map up around the top right or something like that, but it's such a long distance, it's better to kill the engineering bay, which he'll be able to cancel as well to get those minerals back. So so that's good, because otherwise the Dragoon would probably be almost arriving to his base right now. These Marines that are coming out onto the map, actually really curious where they're going. Are they going to try and go around the back, around the bottom of the map, perhaps? Actually making another command center over here on the right side of the right side of his main. It looked like the bottom middle of the map. No, I'm sorry. The command center was up on the high ground, I think. Yeah, okay, there's the command center. I was a little confused because we were seeing the Marines over there, and when we saw him build the command center, but it wasn't the same location. So, in any case, yeah, so we're seeing Reach's first-person view. It looks like he's going to expand as well. He's saving up money for that. The Dragoons are running around the back. They're going to be able to... Oh, and actually encountering those Marines. Marines are... Where are these Marines? Marines are actually running into his main? This is very interesting. This is weird. What are these Marines doing? These are like scouting Marines? He like doesn't care about these Marines' lives. He's like, you guys are gonna march into the enemy base and just die on the way. He's gonna get one probe before these Dragoons polish them off. Wow, I would have expected those Marines to stay back farther. You know, again in 2020, those Marines would have been in a bunker at the front of his base to protect against Dragoon fire while he got his tech going and his siege tech and tanks out and stuff like that. Or they'd be back here to attack these Dragoons to make sure they couldn't kill SCVs as easily. So that's the other reason. So it's a little bit odd that he actually decided to sacrifice every single Marine to get a scout in. Now here's the thing, when you do a proxy of that kind, it's not uncommon to follow up with something extra cheesy on top, you know? It's like you cheese pizza, but also the crust was also filled with cheese the whole time. Is he gonna get this depot though? He's going for it. The SCVs are coming off the line again. He's barely going to be able to stop it, but he's trying to power it down. The siege tank unsieges. The siege tank unsieges to try and get in a better spot to get within range of killing those Dragoons, and he actually loses the depot. He's immediately going to build another one, but he didn't need to lose that depot there. He could have repaired with 2 SCVs instead of 1. And now Reach is assaulting the front base as well. OOV is really in trouble here. He doesn't have 2 tanks. Okay, there's the second tank. Can he repair this barracks? He also repairs the barracks too slow. The barracks is still alive. The barracks is still alive. He repairs with every SCV in the world at the same time, and he barely saves the barracks. Oh my gosh, that barracks was down into the less than 100 hit point range. It was like 1 volley away from dying, and he does barely manage to save that barracks and gets the tank in position to assault those. That would have been catastrophic though, because then those Dragoons could have just marched their way in there and killed that tank probably, or at the very least gotten some SCV kills. It would have been pretty bad regardless. Would have really slowed him down. Building another factory is another thing. He would have had to build a whole other barracks, wait for that to happen, then build a whole other factory to get more units out. So wow, this game is insane. This is why we love StarCraft, right? This game is crazy. Now he's got both tanks positioned on the front line there. The other Dragoons have run away from the back line. So a little surprised he didn't keep a couple of them over there as to keep pressure there. But things starting to try to normalize a little bit. The depot has been rebuilt on the bottom left. Okay, he did actually keep 1 tank in that bottom left. Okay. So he didn't reposition. It was just the new tank that he had out. Scouting SCV is not going to get anywhere to find out what's going on. He's probably on the way to see if Reach had a 3rd base. He's not going to find that out. Reach, interestingly, look, he has those Dragoons next to his main. He's probably a little bit worried because he hasn't really... He's kind of been seeing what's going on in OOV's base, but not entirely. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to keep a couple Dragoons around just in case of vultures running in. Just in case of some kind of vulture drop. I want to be prepared for that as well. So yeah, he can. I don't think he's actually seen the command center built in OOV's natural, the upper natural behind his base. But you know, he saw the SCVs coming off the minerals to go repair the depot, so he has to know that that's there probably. Any case, we might see this lift. I was going to say, I just felt like we were about to see that barracks lift, so those vultures could go out on the map and try and do... I mean, this is what you want to do as a Terran. Get out on the map, get some mines down in different locations, get some scouting in as well, get some map presence. Not map control necessarily, but map presence, so you kind of know what's happening, where the enemy units are. You want to plant some traps as well. And look at this nice little Dragoon wall, actually. This is pretty cool. It's going to work fairly well for Reach to stop those vultures from being able to get in easily. But guess what? This map is crazy, so they can get around the side here. But guess what? Reach has a pylon wall as well that really confused those vultures for a minute. And he's actually going to see that pylon wall and run away. He doesn't want to get those vultures caught with Dragoons coming from behind and just battering him up against that pylon wall. Excuse me. So, yeah, things looking to kind of normalize here. It's really hard to say who has an advantage in this situation, but I feel like it's kind of just going to even out at this point. Terran has 2 bases. Protoss has 3, and that's kind of the mid-game that you expect. We're probably going to see Reach starting to move out on the map and try and take a third before too long. In fact, I believe we see... Yeah, there's the command center beginning at that 3rd base. Pretty crucial to do that. We wouldn't see the Terran player, we wouldn't see OOV move out with just the bases he has, because the back base, the natural, is a mineral-only base, and you need at least 2 gases to be able to produce enough tanks to really get that giant chunk of metal that you really need to bowl over your opponent as a Terran player. So, oh, wow, that was a big mine hit. Well, for the shields at least, I guess. Oh, it didn't hit the 3rd one, actually. It didn't hit the 3rd Dragoon, but still. He's going to pause that move out. Wait for his observer to get over there to be able to pick off those mines. And, yeah, so OOV is going to take that 3rd base. He's going to set up in that choke point. And because the way this map is constructed, he's going to have to worry a little bit about things running down that ramp that we just saw for a moment right there. You know, you can't just protect one choke and protect all 3 bases. You have to protect that top area as well, which is a little tough because there's a high ground there. And Reach is the kind of player that, you know, we could easily see try and run Dragoons around behind that base and try and attack from the high ground or something like that. 1 tank in the mineral line or near the mineral line would be enough to deal with that probably, but it's still just something to be concerned about. And OOV, once again, poking the defenses over here. If there was no Dragoons there, he had enough vultures. He could probably kill off one of those pylons relatively quickly and sneak through that wall. And Kesteti's going to run right past everything, right into the main, planting mines on top of the gateways now. He does have observers there. He's actually just going to run 1 single zealot through to kill all of the mines. That was a beautiful sacrifice by that zealot. Oh no! He ran in too quickly. He ran into, and you can see he balked and started to run that vulture. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep calling zealots vultures. That's so weird. He ran that 1 zealot away, but it was too late. The mine had already locked on. The probes were right next to it, and the farthest range of that mine explosion was able to kill several probes. Looked like 4 or 5 probes were in that group, possibly more. So that was actually a pretty big attack there by OOV. He only lost 8 vultures, I think, and he killed at least that many probes, and also was able to kill off some zealots and just do generally a lot of damage and harassment. Stop mining completely at that 2nd base for a little while. So, any case, Reach really needs to start thinking about taking a 4th base, I think, at this point. Although, how is he going to do that? We see OOV pushing into the middle of the map here. He's going to take up a defensive position. But this could be turning into a longer macro game, actually, because, you know, I've talked about this so many times in the Starly, but this map, you can see those bridges right there. Those bridges are crucial. Those bridges divide the map in half from left to right. And if you hold the left side, or if you hold either side of those bridges, oh, we got the carriers again. It's Reach, of course we've got carriers. Reach loves his carriers. But those bridges divide the map, and if a Terran player holds one side of those bridges, it is essentially impossible to break it. And you can see he's actually building turrets. He might have scouted the carrier tech already by the fact that he's putting up a lot of turrets around. We'll see if he does decide to... yeah, he's got armories as well, although he would have wanted to get those for upgrades regardless. What is... Ooh, unsieging all of his tanks. What is he going to go here? Is he going to try and push across those bridges? If the Terran player moves across those bridges and takes control of the other side, that is also a dangerous position. But they can take control of one side of those bridges and basically be impervious to attack by the ground. Now, of course, that's where the carriers come in. That's why he's going carriers. It's not just because he likes carriers, but it's because of this map. It's especially good for carriers. There's so many different ledges and ridges and gaps and rivers and bridges and all kinds of other structural terms that I could go on listing if I wanted to. But basically, there's a lot of places, what it comes down to, there's a lot of places where carriers can fall back to and be safe, right? You want to go in, you want to attack with your carriers, and then if the Goliaths come for your carriers, you want to be able to fall back and have them be safe. And actually, Reach doing a brilliant move, attacking from both sides of this middle position. He's attacking across the bridges, which is a little bit dangerous and foolhardy, but attacking from the north at the same time was a brilliant move, but just not executed well enough. The forces on the bridge got stuck. A couple of the Dragoons started attacking the tank. The other Dragoons behind were not able to move across. A couple of Dragoons started attacking the turret, and he could not get his full force across there. And now, the full might of Oov's army coming across that bridge. He has taken control of the other side of the bridge, and even though it's not as defensible of a position, it's still defensible. No, he loses one of his two carriers. That's another game where Reach is losing carriers that he didn't have to. He just paid a tiny bit more attention to them and microed them back a little bit early, being a little bit too brash with them. And now this is what I was going to try and talk about, is that even though this is an open area that is much less easy to defend, I guess you might say much harder to defend than the other side of those bridges, it doesn't matter. If you've just got a bigger army, excuse me, if you got a bigger army and you have enough tanks to hold off the ground army, then it doesn't matter. You can still take control. And now here, he's moved a little bit to the side, and this is the crucial spot right here, because now he being Oov, can take control of that choke point. And once he has his tanks sieged up in that choke point, which he does now, it's going to be really hard to break. And he's actually not even going to stop and contain. He's going to go all in. He says, I think I have enough to actually break you right here, right now. I'm not going to let it go on longer. I'm not going to let you build up your carrier count enough that you can kill off my tanks. But he does have 3 carriers, though. He's going straight for the tanks. He's actually microing back away, drawing the Goliaths back so that the Dragoons can actually get in closer. Is he going to lose a carrier, though? He does lose another carrier. That's 2 carriers down. He's now got 2 instead of 4. But drawing those Goliaths back to the left, baiting the Goliaths away with the carriers, which is a pretty juicy bait, you have to admit, allowed the Dragoons to actually get in and get shots down on the tanks. So even though he didn't kill off the tanks with the carriers, he killed off the tanks with the Dragoons. He does clear up that attack for the moment. But, wow, look at that. Holy crap, look at that factory count. That is 10 factories, ladies and gentlemen. 10 factories in just beautiful SimCity as well. And this is the Cheater Terror Network, and he's done this consistently in this series and in this game. We saw that earlier. I didn't mention it because it was in the heat of battle, but he actually, while the battle was going on, was scanning and killing observers at the same time. Oov has been very consistent in specifically targeting enemy observers in this matchup, and it's really interesting to see that. And it's kind of interesting because you know, you might see that if he was going to be going with cloaked raids or something like that, but it's a really interesting tactical move, and I wonder what the strategy is behind that he's been so keen on doing that. And it's obviously for mines is one thing, but why I was going to question is because we didn't have any mines on the map. So now that he's getting out mines, it's going to be much more effective. Look at this line, this beautiful conga line of Goliaths, and so we have another observer out. I mean, they are pretty quick and pretty cheap to replace. So targeting, and there he goes to scan, but he's not gonna actually get that observer. The observer was kind of already on the retreat. Reach now up to 4 carriers, but with that observer, he is going to be able to, you know, clear out mines in the middle, what have you. But again, Oov has not completely given up that position outside of Reach's base. He's rallied forces across the map and has maintained control of that choke point. He hasn't retreated across those bridges and taken the safe position. And are we going to see Reach be able to collapse on that position from 2 different sides? He's got the carriers on one side. He has no force. Oh no, Reach is going for an attack on the side base, and Oov says, well, guess what? That means you have no army at home, and he's going in for the kill. Oov is going to lose one of his side bases, but look at this just absolutely giant. There's a field of mechanized attack units coming through this choke point into the main natural of, I guess not the natural, but into basically the rally point of Reach. And now Reach is just basically trading. He's trying to run across the map to defeat these side expansions, but he's going to lose all of his bases as well. All of those probes going down. This is, I think we're going to see OOV take this game and take it to a 2-1 lead in this series because he's just got so much stuff. And look, now because he's a Terran, he can just siege up. Well, actually, oh, there's only one tank there. Never mind. I thought he would have a bunch of reinforcements, but he doesn't actually. So are we going to see a full-on base trade scenario here? We might actually see that. Where are the carriers? Here's the thing. The carriers and the reinforcements can hold OOV out of his main. So maybe it actually might turn around the other direction. I might have been completely wrong because OOV has killed off that third base. But how is he going to get into the main? How is he going to get into the main? He can't get into the main. And in the meantime, he's going to kill off OOV's expansion. He's trying to target it down. The repairs are going on, but the Zealots are killing off the repairing SCVs. And I think that the Command Center is going to live? What? What just... The Command Center lives and the Dragoons retreat. Why are they retreating? He's retreating away from these vultures and running through mines instead and losing his units. And I think that's going to actually secure the victory for OOV because, well, maybe. We'll see. OOV does this other base and he's targeting down with carriers. Is he going to do a mass repair on this as well? He's right-clicked it with all of his SCVs, but is going to go down too quickly. He's targeting down with the carriers. Can he kill it in time? No! Oh my goodness, for the second time this game, he has the third time this game, he's barely repaired a building in time before it died, repairing the barracks at the very beginning as well. Now that's 2 command centers that he's barely saved with repairs with mass SCVs before it went down, and that one has been completely repaired. He's now mining again. Imagine if that base was dead. Imagine if those 2 command centers are dead. Instead, they've been repaired and he's mining at those 2 bases. That was Reach's chance to get back in this game, I think, was to successfully kill those 2 bases, leave OOV with very little mining, and instead OOV has mining at 2 different bases, actually his third 3 bases because he's still mining at his upper natural, which is the mineral only as well. So, you know, give OOV some minerals and he's going to make a ton of more units than you expect, and that's what we're seeing right here, is he is continuing to make units. He's also fallen back that army, I think. Let's see. Okay, no, here's some of those units in Reach's side of the map that were left over. Actually, don't even know what those tanks are doing over there. But he's fallen back those Goliaths and Vultures that were on the right side of the map, killing off Reach's bases. Reach now has these carriers. He's trying to desperately cling to control of his side of the map with a substantial carrier count now. Though. He's got like 8 carriers. That is a lot of interceptors. Goliaths have +2 weapons, by the way, we're seeing, and it's actually, does he not have any upgrades for the interceptors? It's hard to tell. Wow, and actually we just saw them point out that Reach just mined out of his natural expansion. So now Reach has 0 mining. 0 mining. He has these carriers, and that is it. And if he loses interceptors, then he can't replace them, basically, because he doesn't have the minerals. But he's going to go in for one last counterattack. He's going to try and use the terrain of this map to his advantage to see if he can do some damage with these carriers. And again, OOV says, all right, well, if your carrier's over here, you don't have an army, I'm going to counterattack. Can the carriers kill off OOV's base faster than this giant Goliath Vulture force? Well, they are getting stuck in this choke point. The Dragoons were trying to hold that choke, but they are dead. Can he control that choke point or hold it long enough to maybe get some reinforcements out? It looks like no. He's actually just move commanded his units into that base, so now he's able to get full damage down onto the buildings, and it is a base race, but I'm pretty sure OOV is going to win this base race just if you look at the 17 pixels on the mini-map that we can see right now. The amount of red versus the amount of blue, there is a lot more blue on the map right now, so it's going to be a lot harder for him to do that. And we actually see Reach hiding his probes in the bottom corner. He might try and make an extra base. We might actually end up seeing, I mean, theoretically we could end up seeing something where he's hiding pylons around the map so he doesn't get eliminated or something along those lines. Killing off tanks, actually not necessary at this point because he doesn't have a ground army. He's never going to have a ground army ever again. So he's just trying to cart it down the command center. He's mass repairing again. Is he going to get the command center this time? Again, the mass repair doesn't work. You know, if you can do it, if you can pick off a building fast enough, with your carriers, with your mass carriers, that they cannot repair it in time, it's an effective strategy. But otherwise, you would have needed to go for the SCVs first. And now he's trying to just run around the map. The carrier, it's not often you think of a control group of 8 or 9 carriers as being the prey, but they are in this situation. The Goliaths are hunting them all across the map, around the north of the map. He's actually going to get another command center. It looks like he's going to get that command center. He does. Wow, and the Goliath's targeting down, getting a lot of the interceptors. And that's the thing, he actually is killing some interceptors here. And I don't think Reach can refill his interceptors. The fact that he hasn't built a new Nexus in a hidden base means that I think that he's just doesn't even have the money for a new Nexus or anything like that. So Reach is really on the ropes here. He's coming back to try and save the last of his buildings to keep himself from getting eliminated. I would love to see some Cloaked Wraiths pop out right now, because I don't think Reach has a robotics facility. I don't think he has any observers left on the map, and so like one Cloaked Wraith could really kill all those carriers essentially. That would be kind of a funny way to end it. That would be appropriate for the protege of Boxer to use Cloaked Wraiths against carriers, since that's one of the pimpest plays that we've seen from Boxer, that he's done that before. And you can see, even in this situation, we saw OOV just doing scans. And part of the reason for those scans is because he doesn't have vision of the high ground. He wants to be able to make sure that he can connect his missiles to those carriers. And those carriers are trapped. Where are they going to go? But I think part of it is also that he wants to scan and pick off observers. He's continuing to do that. And again, these carriers trying to do some damage, but look at the amount of interceptors that we see getting destroyed. There's the GG coming from Reach. Finally, he realizes that there's just no way he's going to be able to get enough damage done with those carriers, even though a force of that many carriers is really a destructive force to be reckoned with. But you know what? OOV reckoned with them. He reckoned with them and he wrecked them. And so OOV is going to take game number 3, and he's going to go up in 2-1 in this series. He's now 1 game away from securing himself in the finals. Reach needs to win game number 4 very desperately in order to bring it to that final game 5 to get himself to the finals as well. And just absolute craziness in this series. This game, this series, this entire Star League has been just beautifully insane. It's just been wonderfully bonkers. Every single game, almost every single game has been beautiful and wonderful to watch. And so yeah, hope you guys are looking forward to the rest of these games as much as I am. Game number 3 wraps up with OOV taking a lead in the series. GG. Thank you for watching.